View for the Package with Gene Hackman, Tommy Lee Jones, Joanna Cassidy, directed by Andrew Davis. So the synopsis is experienced Green Beret Sergeant Johnny Gallagher, who's Gene Hackman, is escorting a prisoner, Airborne Ranger Thomas Boyette, who's Tommy Lee Jones, back to the U.S., but Boyette escapes and Gallagher must risk life and limb to catch him. So, interesting movie. I've never seen it. Just watched it. This is directed by Andrew Davis, who directed The Fugitive, Under Siege, some other stuff. The Guardian, A Perfect Murder. So pretty good director. I think this is a solid movie too. This is like kind of a forgotten movie. I've never really heard of it, but just watched it. It's pretty good. You could definitely see, like, kind of in The Fugitive. This has an even more intricate plot. I'd say The Fugitive is a little simpler, but still pretty intricate. So this director's pretty good at keeping track of very intricate plots. I think this is. The synopsis doesn't even go into really what's going on. It's kind of hard to talk about it without spoilers, but overall, very good movie. Gene Hackman, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. He's very good in this. He's in it a lot. He's in it way more than... I mean, Tommy Lee Jones he's in it, but not that much. Pam Grier's in it, but she's only in a few scenes, though. But she gets very high billing. She's only in a few scenes. Tommy Lee Jones he's in it here and there. He's like on the run, you think. But anyways, John Hurt is in it, who plays Colonel Glenn Whiteacre. And, he's the father in Home Alone 1 and 2. Dennis Franz is in it, who plays a Chicago cop who was friends with Gene Hackman. He kind of links up with him to use him because the end of the movie takes place in Chicago, just like in The Fugitive. The end of it takes place in Chicago. Like, is Andrew Davis from Chicago? Yeah, born Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. I think even part of the movie at the end takes place in this hotel that the end of The Fugitive takes place in. There's a bunch of other actors in it that are in The Fugitive. Johnny Lee Davenport, I think, is in The Fugitive. Ron Dean is in The Fugitive. He's one of the cops who thinks that Richard Kimball's guilty. Some other people, too. And, of course, Tommy Lee Jones is in The Fugitive, and he's also in Under Siege, also. So, as far as I can tell, he's in 3 movies directed by Andrew Davis, but I'll get into spoilers. So, spoilers now. He escapes, and during all of this, there's also a peace treaty between the Soviet Union and the U.S., between their leaders and the president. And later on, you find out that, with this peace treaty, also they're talking about nuclear disarmament. And later on, you find out that basically there's a faction of the U.S. military that doesn't like this. And what they're trying to do is use Tommy Lee Jones, who's actually impersonating another soldier, use him to kill the Russian Secretary General, I think his name is, his title, who's basically like their president. Because they're having a peace treaty signing in Chicago. So he's going to assassinate him and then blame it on the guy he's impersonating, who is also a military intelligence guy who is tied up, who's also tied up with let's say fans of Germans from the 1930s, and so he's going to be the patsy, and he's been marching with them and distributing pamphlets about what they, their cause, and also their hatred of communists. So they don't like the Soviet Union, they don't like this peace treaty. So basically, he's going to get blamed, and then they will get blamed. The fans of 1930s and 40s Germany. So, pretty interesting plot. Kind of unfolds slowly throughout the movie. Um, Andrew Davis, a good director, because I mean, you pretty much get it all, and it's pretty intricate, I'd say. Good script by John Bishop. Let's see, what else did he write? Okay, Drop Zone, a Wesley Snipes movie from '94. Never seen it. It says screenplay, Drop Zone. I never even heard of that. So, good script. And then yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones, he's on the run, you think, but what he's actually doing is he then meets up with the faction of our military who doesn't like what's going on. They get him a weapons, sniper rifles, and they're going to assassinate the Soviet Secretary of General. At one point, I think that, you think he's going to kill the president, but he doesn't do. He's not going to do that. And and then Gene Hackman, basically in the beginning, is just trying to find Tommy Lee Jones because he escaped from him, so he kind of messed up. And then he starts to find out about all of this. So and Joanna Cassidy's in this. Oh yeah, she's in Blade Runner. That's right. She's Zora. And in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. A really good actress. She is, I think, Gene Hackman's ex-wife. She's in the military too. He goes to her for help, kind of help on the down low, because he wants to find out more about Tommy Lee Jones, because he goes to Tommy Lee Jones's wife's, who he thinks it is, a house, and she says, "Well, I haven't seen him for years. He's in Germany." She's a picture of him on the wall, but it's not Tommy Lee Jones. It's actually the guy that's the patsy. And then they go to the mom's house, and that's how they find out how he's connected with the German mustache men. But so yeah, I don't know if I'm doing a good job explaining it, but very good movie. I'd say, The Fugitive, I still think is his best. This is probably about on par with Under Siege. Totally different movie, because Under Siege is a good action movie. This is a little bit of action, but it's not really an action movie. Roger Ebert gives it 3 stars out of 4. So like he says, the package is like one of those thrillers where you keep having to turn back to an earlier chapter to see if you missed something. It turns out you haven't. The movie's plot is so intricate that it seems there have to be loose ends, but there aren't any. And after it's over, you return to the events in your head, seeing at last how all the pieces fit together. Untangling the conspiracy is one of the story's pleasures. The movie stars Gene Hackman in another one of those man of action roles he seems to play more convincingly than ever. Now that he seems a little bit too old to be guys like this, both he and his character seem to have the benefits of experience. He's a leader of a crack U.S. military unit in charge of security at an American-Soviet nuclear disarmament summit. When security seems to have been compromised and a carload of VIPs is ambushed, Hackman gets a lot of the blame. He is rotated stateside as an escort from a military prisoner played by Tommy Lee Jones. He already has picked up some hints that nothing, especially not the violent ambush, was quite as it seemed. And in a run-in before he leaves Europe, he encounters a specialist in undercover espionage, John Hurd, who gives him the creeps. Hackman doesn't like spies. He doesn't think they're professional or quite honest, and the movie argues that he's right. We begin to witness small moments of snatches of conversation that suggest there's a conspiracy to undermine the peace talks, the conspiracy of spies from both sides. But by then Hackman is on a military aircraft to America with his prisoner. And there it is, this early in the film, that the surprises start as the plot turns in upon itself, giving us a series of people with shifting identities and allegiances. Who is the prisoner really? When Hackman is attacked in the washroom at the airport in Washington, and the prisoner is spirited away, was that an escape, a kidnapping, or part of the same plot, attempting to track down reality in a bewildering maze of possibilities? Hackman calls on one person he knows he can trust, his former wife, Joanna Cassidy, who now outranks him in the military. It would be not fair to reveal very much more of the plot. In fact, this plot really consists of its revelations. Like the Manchurian Candidate, it creates a world in which little is as it seems, and long-buried conspiracies eventually pay off. The Hackman character realizes he has stumbled over a remarkably subtle plan to assassinate a world leader during a visit to Chicago, but we know the plan before he does. And one of the movie's pleasures is the way we are allowed to figure things out for ourselves, along with Hackman, or a little ahead of him. Yeah, I agree. The package, directed by Andrew Davis, is his third film in a row to involve strong action heroes and labyrinth conspiracy set in Chicago. Code of Silence with Chuck Norris and Above the Law with Steven Seagal. Although shooting movies on location has been a Hollywood way for life for years, few directors get more out of a location than Davis. So yeah, he really likes the movie. He seems like he's a big fan of the director. I wonder if he likes Above the Law with Seagal. Is he a Seagal fan, Roger Ebert? I don't know. He's at least the fan of the director, and I agree. Very good director. Hackman is very good in the leading role, but then Hackman is so good so often that he sometimes seems like a natural force in danger of being taken for granted. What I noticed in this film was the way he made his character into a particular human being. There's not a lot to build on. The plot is so important, the pacing is so urgent, that the pure character moments are rare. So he works with his dialogue, finding ways to make it sound like his ingrained style of speech. There's never the sense he's reading dialogue. He has habitual ease with the words, almost a wariness in the way he handles his business that convinces us he has been doing this job for a long time. I often complain that modern thrillers leave out the third act. There's the setup, the development, and then instead of the payoff, we get a routine chase and shootout. The package does end in a race against time, but Davis bases the race so firmly on who the characters are and what their goals are that it doesn't feel contrived. The whole movie, in fact, is smarter than most contemporary thrillers. It gives us credit for being able to figure things out, and it contains characters who are devilishly intelligent, almost smart enough, we think, for a while, to really pull this thing off. Yeah, a very good review. I agree with all that. Yeah, the plot slowly unfolds and treats the audience with respect enough that it just doesn't, you don't have one scene where they just explain it all because they think the audience is really dumb. So you got to give the director or the writer that. Chris Christopherson paid hard to get the role of Airborne Ranger Tom Boyette. Well, I'm glad it's Tommy Lee Jones. But I mean, nothing against Chris Christopherson, but after this movie, Tommy Lee Jones was considered for the role of hero Frank Horrigan in the movie In the Line of Fire, which is also an assassination movie. However, the director Wolfgang Peterson and the crew favored Clint Eastwood. Oh, yeah, Clint Eastwood's perfect in that movie. That's a great movie. Yeah, one of three movies Tommy Lee Jones made with the director Andrew Davis, the other two being Under Siege and The Fugitive. Andrew Davis frequently directs movies with high conspiracy themes: Under Siege, The Fugitive, The Package, Above the Law, Code of Silence. All involve official corruption, treason, conspiracy in the film's plot. I should check out Code of Silence. I guess I haven't seen that. Oh, the original script had the same story about a political conspiracy, but the entire film was to take place inside an army base, similar to the contained thrillers like Die Hard. Andrew Davis was brought aboard and liked the story, but decided to expand the scope of the action and set the film across many locales. That's weird. I don't even know how you would do that. That's weird. Many scenes take place on the Chicago L train stops. The train line was an important part of setting in another Davis movie, which also starred Tommy Lee Jones, The Fugitive. Yeah, definitely some similarities. I don't know, maybe the DP's the same too. It even kind of looks the same. Hackman and Cassidy previously appeared in Under Fire, 83. All right. Well, yeah, overall, good movie. I really like the way Roger Ebert put it. It's how the plot unfolds. Yeah, I'll probably be checking out Code of Silence if I can. That's with Chuck Norris. Okay, all right. Um, but yeah, check it out. The Package, 1989, and like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.